The restaurant was too noisy for the conversation we were having, but my sister Rebecca insisted on meeting there. She sat across from me with her son Ethan, whose Stanford acceptance letter was displayed on the table like a prize. "So, the graduation party," Rebecca said, scrolling through her phone. "We're thinking of having it at the country club. Maybe 200 guests." Ethan barely looked up from his phone. He was 17, as confident as children are when they are told they have been exceptional their whole lives. I said calmly, "It seems expensive." "It's worth it. He's enrolled at Stanford," Rebecca said, as if he'd won the Nobel Prize. My parents arrived and slipped into the cabin. My father patted Ethan on the shoulder. "This is the Stanford guy. We need to finalize the guest list." Rebecca nodded. "I'm thinking of a slideshow and a photo booth." Ethan put his phone aside. "I don't want anything big. Just my family and close friends." "It's going to be huge," Rebecca said firmly. "It doesn't matter. But I don't want the presence of some people to make it seem strange." Rebecca asked, "What do you mean?" Ethan glanced at me, then looked away. "Some people will just be embarrassed." I said calmly, "He means me." Silence fell over the table. Ethan showed some civility and seemed a little annoyed, but that was not enough to make him take back what he had said. He muttered, "I didn't say that. You didn't have to do that." Rebecca put her pen down. "Victoria, it's just—" "No, let him say it himself," I interrupted. "Ethan, if you don't want me at your graduation, just say so." He shifted in his seat, looking towards his mother for help. When she didn't come, he shrugged. "Okay, I don't want you there. You'll make things awkward. People will ask about you, and I'll have to explain that to my aunt." Then he stopped talking. She asked, "What?" "That's kind of stupid," he finished quickly. "I mean, I don't mean to offend, but you never went to a good school. You work a boring job that no one understands. My friends' parents are all doctors, lawyers, and tech experts. What can I say about you?" My mother gasped. "Ethan, this is extremely rude." "But he's not wrong," Rebecca said cautiously. "Victoria, you know we love you. But Ethan is right. This is his chance. He's going to Stanford. His friends come from prestigious families. You," she gestured to me with an ambiguous sign. "You are different from us." I looked at my sister, the same woman who had called me last month asking me to borrow money for Ethan's graduation trip, and who had called me 3 months earlier asking if I could help with the costs of preparing him for the SAT. I looked at Ethan, the boy I held in the hospital on the day he was born, whose trust fund statement I had reviewed only last week. I said, "I see. So I'm not welcome." Rebecca sighed and said, "Don't overreact. We're not saying you can't attend the graduation ceremony itself. Perhaps it's best to avoid the ceremony. Keep things simple." Ethan, encouraged by his mother's support, added, "Yes, it doesn't matter in terms of the party, but the party is for the people I actually want to be there." I took out my phone and opened my email and browsed through the message I had received that morning from Wells Fargo Wealth Management. The letter's title was as follows: Ethan Thompson Educational Foundation, Annual Review. I said, smiling, "That makes sense. You're right, Ethan. It's your day. You should be surrounded by people you respect." He seemed relieved. "Thank you for your understanding." Naturally. I stood up, gathering my bag. "I have to go. Work is calling me." "Your boring job," Ethan said in a low voice. I stopped. "Yes, my boring job. Enjoy your lunch, and congratulations again on your acceptance to Stanford University." I left them arguing about DJs versus bands. I sat in my car looking at my phone. The idea for the trust came from my father when Ethan was born. Everyone enthusiastically agreed to contribute. Then they all forgot about it, assuming someone else would take care of it. I have been dealing with this for 18 years. I deposited money, $500 a month at first, and then the amount increased as my career progressed. The account now contains $372,000, enough for 4 years at Stanford University with a margin for expenses. I was the trustee, the only person authorized to spend the money. Rebecca was unaware of the details. She assumed the trust was a general family trust that could be made available to Ethan when he turned 18. I made a mistake in my assumption. On Monday morning, my phone remained silent until 10 o'clock. Then Rebecca called. "What did you do?" Her voice was sharp with terror. "Good morning, Rebecca. I'm fine, thanks for asking." "Don't. I just got a call from Stanford University's financial aid office. They said there's a problem with Ethan's funding. Something related to the guarantor's signature. They said his enrollment is conditional pending verification of his ability to pay. This looks dangerous." "Victoria, what's going on?" The woman said she's trying to contact Ethan's education treasurer. She said the treasurer's contact information includes your name. "Why does it include your name?" I leaned back in my office chair, looking at the city skyline. "Because I am the guardian." "What does that mean?" "This means I control the trust fund. I am the only person authorized to withdraw money from it." Silence. Then, "This can't be true. This is a family fund. It's a fund I've contributed to for 18 years. $372,000. That's enough to cover Ethan's 4 years at Stanford University. Did you donate $300,000? Her voice cut out. How is that possible? Regular deposits over 18 years. Compound interest. Basic financial planning. But you can't. I mean, you work in an administrative job. You don't have that kind of money. I'm the CFO of a mid-sized tech company, Rebecca. I earn $400,000 a year. I've been making a lot of money for a long time. The financial manager. What? You told us you work in accounting. Yes, at the executive level. I have an MBA from Wharton and a certified public accountant license. My boring job involves managing a budget of $100 million. Another long silence. Why didn't you tell us? I did it. Over and over again. You all stopped listening years ago. It was easier to see me as the one who didn't live up to his potential, the one who didn't live up to the family's standards. It made you feel better about yourselves. This is not, we never did that. Rebecca, your son called me stupid on Saturday. And you agreed with him. You said I wasn't good enough to be at his party. Did you think I would just take that? She didn't mean it. He's only 17. Teenagers say stupid things. Stanford needs the guarantor's signature by Friday, or Ethan's admission will be canceled. They'll offer his place to someone on the waiting list. This is unbelievable. Are you going to punish him for his rudeness? This is madness. I am not punishing anyone. I am making a decision about my own money. Money that I earned, saved, and invested. Money that no one in this family has acknowledged or appreciated. We didn't know. How were we supposed to appreciate something we knew nothing about? You knew enough. You knew I helped with the costs of preparing for the SAT. You knew I paid for his summer programs. You knew I sent checks for his expenses. But you didn't bother to think about where the money came from or why I did it. Because you are a family. A family helps each other. Yes, Rebecca. The family helps each other. They also respect each other. Family members don't call each other stupid or prevent each other from celebrating. I could hear her breathing, sharp and rapid. What do you want? You want him to apologize? Fine. I'll make him apologize. I'll make him grovel if that's what it takes. I don't want forced apologies. I want Ethan to go to a school where he learns that intelligence comes in many forms, that respect is not tied to social status, and that people who support you in silence deserve more than just fleeting cruelty. So you're saying no? You're really going to let him lose Stanford University? I'm saying I won't be signing anything this week. Stanford University's deadline is Friday. Ethan can make his own decisions about what will happen next. We have no choice. We can't afford Stanford without this money. We don't have $70,000 a year. I'm a teacher, Victoria. Ethan's father hasn't paid child support in 5 years. This is his last chance. He should have thought about that before deciding that I was causing him so much embarrassment that he couldn't attend his party. He's a child. He's old enough to attend Stanford. He's old enough to bear the consequences of his words. You're his mother. You should have taught him better. Instead, you reinforced his cruelty. You agreed that I wasn't worthy of his celebration. You endorsed everything he said. Rebecca was crying now. Please, Victoria, please don't do this. I'm sorry. We're both sorry. You can come to the party. You can bring whoever you want. You can give a speech. I don't care. Just don't take this away from him. It wasn't originally his. It was mine. My money. My decision. My trust fund that I built over 18 years while you all considered me a family failure. You are not a failure. We never said that. I said it on Saturday. I said it every time you introduced me as just an accountant while you boasted about your teaching career. I said it every time you forgot to ask about my work, my life, my accomplishments. I said it in 1,000 little ways over the course of 2 decades. What do you want from us? Nothing. That's the bottom line. I don't want anything anymore. I'm done funding people who think I'm a fool. I'm done being the family's breadwinner while being treated like the family's disappointment. But Ethan will find a solution. He can get loans. He can enroll in a public university. He can defer his studies for a year, and then reapply with proper financial planning. All of these are options available. They are not like Stanford University. No, they are not. And it's not right to respect the aunt who funded your education either. But here we are. She hung up before she could reply. My phone kept ringing throughout the rest of the day. Rebecca, my mom, my father, even Ethan himself left increasingly desperate voice messages. I didn't listen to any of them. Ethan showed up in my office on Wednesday afternoon. My assistant sent it. He entered and his eyes widened as he gazed at the view, the desk made of mahogany wood, and the wall of certificates and awards. He stood in an embarrassing position and suddenly looked very young. He said calmly, "A beautiful office. Thank you. Please have a seat." He slipped on the chair. "My mother said you're a financial manager and that you studied at Wharton." "This is correct." "I didn't know any of that." "I know. I was a fool on Saturday." "Yes, I was." "My mother says you won't sign the papers. She says I'm going to lose Stanford University." "That's a possibility." His jaw clenched. "So what is this? Revenge?" You're going to ruin my life because I hurt your feelings. Is this what you think is happening? Isn't that so? I leaned back in my chair. Ethan, let me ask you something. Do you know what the CFO does? Shrug. Financial matters. I make decisions about how to allocate resources to maximize value and minimize risk. I decide which investments are worth making and which are not. It is my responsibility to recognize when we put money into something that will not generate a suitable return. I am not an investment. No, you're not. You're my nephew. But the principle applies. For 18 years, I've invested in your future. My time, my money, my effort. I did it because I love you and because I wanted opportunities for you. But on Saturday, you made it clear that you don't appreciate that investment. You called me a fool. You said I'm an embarrassment. And your mother agreed. I didn't mean to. Yes, you did. You meant exactly what you said. You looked at me, the one who has silently supported you all your life, and decided that I am not good enough to be seen with you. That I am not successful enough or smart enough or prestigious enough for your celebration. His face turned red. I was acting stupidly. You were honest. That's what you really think about me. And that's fine. You have the right to your opinion. But I also have the right to make decisions about my money based on that opinion. So you really won't sign? I really won't be signing this week. The deadline for Stanford University is Friday. After that, my place will go to someone else. Yes. What if I apologized? Really apologized? Not just because my mom forces me to. An apology does not erase 18 years of being ignored and belittled by my family. Nor does it change the fact that when you were asked to choose between respecting me and impressing your friends, you chose your friends. His eyes filled with tears. I worked hard to be able to get into Stanford University. I know, and I worked hard to fund it. We both had a stake here. The difference is that you got rid of my contribution without hesitation. And now you face the consequences. This is not fair. No, it's not like that. None of this is fair. But it's the truth. Actions have consequences. Words have weight. And sometimes the people you take for granted stop giving you things. He stopped suddenly. Everyone was right. You're a mean person. I'm not mean, Ethan. It's over. There's a difference. He left without saying a word. I returned to my work. The trust fund documents were in my desk drawer, unsigned. Friday has passed. Stanford University contacted my office twice. I let both calls go to voicemail. By Monday, Ethan's place had been offered to another student. The acceptance letter that had been proudly placed on the restaurant table became just an expensive piece of paper with no power. Rebecca stopped contacting us after the first week. My parents sent me some emails filled with guilt, which I deleted without reading them. Ethan posted on social media about his plans to attend the University of California, Berkeley in the fall, making it seem like it had always been his first choice. I never attended his graduation ceremony, but I sent a card with a check for $500 and a note that simply read, "Congratulations on your graduation. I hope you learn the difference between intelligence and status, and between achievement and recognition. Love, your silly aunt." The trust fund is still active. It's still in my name. It is still under my control. $372,000 are deposited in an account, waiting for someone who might actually appreciate it. Ethan might do that someday. Perhaps he will contact me in 10 years, after he has learned something about humility and respect. He probably won't. In both cases, I no longer wait for my family to see my worth. I already know that. This knowledge is worth more than any acceptance letter from Stanford University could ever be.
अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ ये जो दिन सहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा बेसर्द लगता है दिल का हर एक कोना अब बहुत ही दूर भरता है अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ मैं ये जो दिन सुहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम भी बड़ा सर्द लगता है दिल का हर एक कोना बहुत ही दर्द भरता है मेरे साए भी मुझसे अब जुदा होने को कहते हैं तुझे खोने की राहों में ये आंसू बहने लगते सितारों से भी पूछता है पता तेरा कहाँ होगा, मगर खामोश है दुनिया, कहाँ मेरा जहाँ होगा। बस एक बार मुड़ के देख ले मेरी बेबसी की सूरत, मुझे है आज भी तेरी वफा की सख्त जरूरत। साए मेरे तन्हा सफर बस रह गया दर्द का असर, साए मेरे तन्हा सफर बस रह गया दर्द का असर, दर्द का असर।